The second discipline in the 4 disciplines of effective execution is to focus on the lead measures. The difference between a lead measure and a lag measure can be summarized in one word: predictive. A lag measure is something that once you've measured it, it's already happened, something like revenue or number of clients. The way you can really identify that you're focused on a lag measure, which can be counterproductive because it's difficult to connect the dots, is exactly that. When you focus on this goal, you kind of dig deep into your brain and you say, well, how am I going to accomplish this? And the brain says, I don't know. That means you're probably focused on a lag measure. So a lead measure is predictive. It's something that you can take action on now in order to create a lag measure in the long term. So a couple things to remember that I've seen people struggle with. First is that it's science. You're really forming a hypothesis. You're making a guess. Is this predictive of this lag measure? You want to look at it in isolation. It's one of the reasons you focus on one wildly important goal at a time within context. Is you're going to have a certain amount of action on a lead measure and then see if within the amount of time that you expected, or maybe even more or less, it has an impact on the lag measure. So remember that it's a hypothesis. It's very, very rare to have a causational relationship between two things. It's tough to discern that, so what you're going to figure out are corollaries, and over time you're going to have a theory that this specific action results in this other thing that's important to you. So like I said, first one, remember that this is science. This isn't something that you can just see and automatically know how it works, no matter how obvious it seems. Secondarily, a big problem that people have is they think that it's really just A and B, that there are lead measures, and lead measures are always lead measures, and then there are lag measures, and they always are lag measures. But instead of thinking of it as A and B, think of it more like the entire alphabet. Lead measures are predictive of lag measures, but lag measures can also be predictive of other measures. So in fact, those lag measures are lead measures. I know I'm using the same words again and again, but it goes back to that word of predictive. Remember that it's a chain of events that makes your business successful. And what you're going to want to make sure of is you're focused on the right chain, but you don't forget that there are always going to be things that are predictive of the predictive measures, and there are causational results afterwards. And like I said earlier, there's always going to be cause and effect in the background, but we're not omniscient. We can't just look at it and know what the relationship is. We have to use good science by forming a hypothesis and then testing it and being really honest with ourselves. And occasionally we're going to be wrong, but being wrong and knowing it is very valuable. Being wrong and not knowing it is dangerous. So when you're implementing principle 2 from the 4 disciplines of effective execution, make sure that you use good science, and you remember that predictive isn't a process that ends once the result happens. Things happen after, and things happen before.